everyone, Miss GoElectric here. Earlier this year at the 2024 Consumer Electronics Show, I noticed that Anker announced many new products, including the Anker Solix C800 portable power station I have here. Anker is a popular brand. I own some of their wall chargers and cables, and I've actually seen their previous generation power stations in action, powering the whole Electrify Expo, but I've never tried one out. So I'm really excited because Anker has sent me this C800 to be able to test out ahead of its March 2024 launch date. So let's take a look.
The Anker C800 Portable Power Station Plus is a lithium iron phosphate energy storage device with a battery capacity of 768 watt-hours. LFP chemistry is safer and more robust compared to nickel-based batteries. Anker claims this device can be fully charged and discharged 3,000 times with minimal loss of capacity. They claim a 10-year lifespan and include a 5-year warranty. This device is capable of outputting 1,200 watts with a peak of 1,600 watts with all ports and outlets considered. It offers 2 USB-C ports rated to deliver 100 and 30 watts, along with 2 USB-A ports at 12 watts per port. There is also one 12-volt DC automotive auxiliary power outlet. For AC power, there are 5 NEMA 515 120-volt outlets. It can accept a maximum charge rate of 1,100 watts from a 120-volt AC outlet and charge as quick as 0 to 100% in just 58 minutes. It can also accept up to 300 watts of DC power from solar panels. The C800 is 14.61 inches wide by 9.84 inches tall and 8.07 inches deep and weighs 24 pounds. It supports Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity for use with the Anker Solix app. Safety and operating certifications include UL, PSE, CE, FCC, ROHS, and UKCA.
All right, so this is everything that comes in the box. It includes the user guide and the 5-year warranty card, which that's a really impressive time frame. Now that also includes these 3 cables here. The first cable is a 120-volt AC charging cable, which you could just plug into a regular outlet and be able to charge this device up. The middle one here has an XT60 cable, and this one is used to be able to plug in solar panels. So as I mentioned before, this can take up to 300 watts of solar. The last cable here is an XT60 connection to plug into this device, and the other side is a 12-volt DC to be able to plug into most automobiles to charge it. All 3 of these cables are really high quality, and I appreciate that Anker has even put their logo on the ends of them. Not only that, but they have these Velcro straps to be able to keep the cables organized. As far as the build quality goes, this is made out of a hard plastic, and the handles themselves are very solid. They are a little slippery though. I wish they had some kind of rubberized texture on them, because when you lift this up, I could see in the summertime, if you're sweaty hands, then it could easily slip out of your hands. But generally speaking, this is very robust. I feel like it's very balanced as far as the weight goes. If I was to drop this, I would assume that it would survive because it feels very nice and high quality. Now on the bottom of this device, it has some rubberized feet, so I think that's a really nice touch because you won't hear the vibration of any of the electronics or those fans kicking on. Now, I haven't seen this in a portable power station before, but on the top of this device is a compartment. You press this button and it releases a latch, and in this compartment is 2 lanterns. They're up to 200 lumens for brightness, and they have 3 different modes. So there's a flashlight mode and then 2 different lantern modes, one that's a little bit softer. The great thing about these lanterns is that they have the charging capability right on the back of the device, so you can just set it right in the tray and it will charge off of the device. Now, another unique thing about this lantern is that on the bottom of it, it has a ring so that you can hang this in your tent if you want to use it in there. Also in this compartment is a telescoping mount. Now what's great about this is that it has a quintessential tripod screw mount, so you'll be able to mount a GoPro or any other kind of attachments here to be able to utilize it in more ways. But it comes with this metal ball on top that is magnetic. And when you release it, all you have to do is pull out. This will stretch out to close to about 3 feet, I believe. So it's very tall. And the lanterns actually have a magnet on the bottom of them so that you can really easily connect them and move them around in any direction that you want. Now that I have this telescoping mount set up, all you have to do is open this rubberized cover, and there's a bolt that's built into the device that you can just screw it into. So that way you can always have light on at your campsite no matter what. Now there's enough space in this compartment to be able to store some small cables that you would want to use for the front of this device, but they definitely won't fit the extra cables that it came with to be able to charge up. So I would get a separate little bag for that since it didn't come with one. All right, now let's turn it on and see how it works. All right, to turn this device on, you hold down the power button for 3 seconds and then the display will come on. Now, if you want the display to be dark and you don't want the power to shut off all the way, all you have to do is tap it and it goes black. So just keep that in mind. That's why you have to hold it down in order to show the display. Now the display itself has both a numeric reading of the state of charge. So this was shipped with about 1/3 of its charge, 32%, but it also shows this blue orbital ring around the bottom of it, which also indicates its state of charge. Above the display is a light bar here. At the end is how you would be able to turn it on with this button. And there are several different settings, so you can make it a little bit brighter. And not only does this work as a little lantern, but also it's a lot easier to be able to see the device on the front and the ports with this light on. All right, let's start small and plug in my phone to charge it. Now there are 2 ports here. One is 100 watts and one is 30 watts for the USB-C ports. And I don't need more than 30 watts, so I'm gonna plug into that. This would be good for a laptop though. Now this has what's called IQ technology, so it should give it power to what it can handle. So in this case, we already see some things changing on the display screen, which shows that this device is now pulling about 13 watts. And what also has changed is on the far right side of the display where it says 23.5 remaining hours. So basically that means that if I was to continuously pull this 13 watts until 32% ran out, that would be 23.5 hours from now. And it'll fluctuate as I plug in more devices. So now I'm gonna really put it to the test because I have my Dyson Airwrap hairdryer and this will take up to 1,300 watts. Now the C800 is rated for 1,200 watts but can boost up to 1,600 watts. So let's see what happens. When I plug into the AC charging outlets down here, you just have to remember that you have to press the button down here in order to activate it. So when I turn that on, you'll see a little logo at the top right corner that says 60 Hertz. All right, let's test this out. It looks like we are pulling 1,345 watts, and it says it'll have 0.1 hours remaining if we continue this. When I turned off the dryer, I could hear the fans inside this device running full blast to keep the electronics cool inside. That's important to note because you're draining more power than what you're using with just the accessory, considering those fans kicking on. And the device communicates that. So at the bottom right hand of the screen, when I said that it had 0.1 hours remaining, that's about 6 minutes. So taking in consideration if I was to run this device for 100% state of charge when this was fully charged, then it would be 18 minutes that I could run this device on the battery, the power station, including the electronics, keeping it cool. Anker also has an app where you can connect up with this device. So not only can you connect through Bluetooth, but you can do it through a Wi-Fi connection as well. But when you log in, I think it's unique that this has the ability to log in using an email address and making an account if you want, or choosing to log in with Amazon. I preferred that method because it adds an extra layer of security in between me and Anker, and it just makes the process much simpler to log in. So after I log in, I can add the device And once I add the device, it gives me a lot of information on here and allows me to control the device. So if I want to turn on and off certain parts of the device, if I'm using it to charge with the DC or AC, I can manipulate those here on the screen. It also gives me status information like what's the temperature of the battery and what is the state of charge. At the very top, it also tells me how much remaining power the device has. I can also control the lantern that's on the top of the device, or I can turn the screen on and off real quickly here. So it makes it really convenient if you're far away from the device. You also have the setting mode, so you can make adjustments to the recharging power, when you want the display to time out, or if you want to adjust the screen brightness. There's a light SOS mode that you can turn on or off, which would make the light flash. Not only can you make adjustments to turning on and off the output of the device, but at the top you can change the input. By default, this device is set to draw 750 watts when you plug it into an AC wall outlet, but you might want to scale that back depending on if you have a dedicated circuit or not. Maybe you want to run more than just one device on that circuit, so you can actually turn down all the way down to 200 watts draw if you want in the app. On the other side, if you want to charge as fast as possible because you're on a dedicated circuit, you can do that by pressing this boost mode, which is labeled as ultra fast charging right here in the app. Once you select that toggle, then you can maximize over 1,000 watts. That's what allows you to get from empty to full in under an hour. Now there's a lot more that you can do in this app, and you can add a whole home system, but I don't have any of that, so maybe in the future if I do get some of those products, then I will test that out a little bit further. Now in order for me to talk about the pros and cons in the context of value, I need to understand the price, and that hasn't been revealed yet. I can say that they have the product that is a level up from this listed at about $650, and the product that is below this is listed around $350. So I gotta assume this is gonna be somewhere in between that range, which I think is a pretty fair price if it is going to be listed at that, considering everything that I have here. As far as improvements goes, there are two main things that I would like to see. One that I already talked about is that rubberized texture underneath the handles, so they're really secure when you're carrying it around, especially in the summertime. And the second is to have protection of these outlets and ports, not only on the front of the device, but also on the side here, so that no sand or water gets in any of them. When it comes to pros, the specifications are right on the money for what it's competitive with in the market. Now, one feature that I really love that I didn't get to talk about yet was that I can also use this when I'm not camping as an uninterruptible power supply. So if the power goes out at my house, I can keep this plugged in and it will switch over to the power for, say, like security cameras or things that I want to make sure are operating even if the power goes out. The last pro are the accessories. Now, you can get solar panels from Anker that will allow you to power this up with 300 watts of power to keep it charged all the time when you're out on a camping trip or off grid. And then the other accessories that I just absolutely love with this device is in this compartment with the lanterns and the mounting mechanism. It's going to be really cool to see what Anker does as far as offering more mounts, but I think it's such a handy and nifty, unique element of this device. If you want to learn more about the Anker Solix C800 portable power station, then see the discount link in the description below. We might also have a discount code down there for you as well. Well, thank you so much for watching this latest video, and until next time, drive, fly, ride, go electric.